It's not like I have to do those things. I get to do those things. And even just changing that language for me became such a powerful motivator for me to live beyond this, what I had deemed a death sentence. Welcome back to the Catalyst podcast. I'm your host, Sonia Pedowick, and today we are going to talk about the health of an entrepreneur. I think health and wellness is a very hot topic. It's talked about, often, right, in mainstream, but I don't know if it's ever really talked about as far as the entrepreneurial journey, because I think the stigma is that entrepreneurs run really fast and we're so busy. In fact, I was talking to a client yesterday of my Torian consulting business, and I was asking him like, hey, I really can't get in touch with this one decision maker. And he was like, oh, she's so busy. And I just think like busyness is worn as like this badge of honor, that like busyness is like next to godliness or something like that. And if anyone knows me, busy is like the biggest pet peeve. It's like it's like a trigger word for me, as if we're all supposed to be so busy. And I think it's really important to talk about health and what we're doing to like really be healthy as an entrepreneur. And for everyone, that does mean different things, and what our each individual health and wellness journey is. And we're going to have a really good friend of mine on the show to talk about mental health and wellness in the workspace. I'm really looking forward to that conversation. I think it's also what motivates you from a values perspective. And this was something that I really was focused on in the last number of years, because my health and wellness journey really centered around my weight and the values that I put on me as a healthy person. And I haven't shied away from talking about this with people, because in my family, weight and health were somewhat obviously intertwined. My whole family has struggled with health and weight. We're all overweight. We have a lot of diabetes, heart disease in my family, and weight has been something that I have historically struggled with. I had 3 kids in the span of 4 or 5 years and really never lost a lot of that baby weight. And then I just think not being raised to know about healthy weight, and I think a lot of childhood trauma for me was centered around scarcity and, not having a lot of food or money. And then when trauma or hard times would come, I would eat a lot. And that was my addiction. That was how I handled stress and hard times. And so obviously in a business, when you have stress and hard times, that's when I would deal with it with food. With some people, it might be drug addiction, alcoholism, and a number of other unhealthy things. For me, it was food. And so approaching 2018, 2019 is probably when I put on the most weight, approaching almost 300 pounds. And at the same time, in my head, I was always like, I don't want to be the same weight as my dad, who died at almost 450 pounds. And so for me, that was a very struggle inside. Like, I don't want to die like my dad at 50. I don't want to be overweight like him. And yet I was on that same trajectory. So, here's this person who dies at 50 and a half years old. He's 450 pounds. And here I am approaching 45 years old on the same exact trajectory. And I would try all the things, right? I would exercise. I felt like I was pretty active. I ran a half marathon. I hiked. I was active with my kids. I was coaching soccer. And yet I was also binge eating and doing all the things to self-sabotage my own weight loss journey. And it was always in correlation with tough times at work, right? I bought a business, failure was not an option. And so like the language, right, was like, don't fail, go overeat. Tough times, go overeat. And so I never really understood why all of those things were happening. And so this last year, I learned a lot about values and motivation and the things and language, how those things, words have power, and how even though I thought these are the things I wanted, how my motivation and the words that I was using was actually self-sabotaging on an unconscious level. The things that I was doing was actually away motivation, working against myself. And I never really understood any of that until this NLP journey that I was on, and then digging into some of my childhood stuff and going, wait a minute, if I say I want this, but yet I'm doing these things, that's not really making sense. It's not really, how can I say I don't want to die like my father? If I'm saying that, aren't I actually saying I'm working towards dying like my father? Does that make sense? And so on the unconscious level, I'm actually sabotaging myself. And so I learned a lot about the power of my unconscious and my mind and my values. If I say I want health, but I'm also saying die, unhealthy journey, all these things, I'm actually working against myself. So in the months leading up to my 50th birthday, which is April of last year, the year working up to that, I started to really think about, what is it that I want? What are my values? What do I hold dear? What is it that I'm really working towards? And I started to like really write down like the values and the things I wanted. I want to be here. I want to be healthy. I want to be here to enjoy my kids' graduation, my kids' weddings. I want to be active. I want to be healthy. I want to be vibrant. I want to be healthy in my bones. I want to be intimate with my husband. I want, instead of saying things like, I don't want to be afraid of intimacy, I actually want intimacy. I want to be sexy in my body. When I switched the language and the motivation was to be the positive things, instead of saying things like, I don't want to be afraid of intimacy, I don't want to be in pain. When I started to use language about what I actually wanted, that's how powerful our unconscious mind is. All of a sudden, the behaviors and motivations were shifted for me. And all of a sudden, the weight literally started coming off. I started being motivated to eat healthier, to drink more water. I went from literally not being able to, drink a cup of water every day to drinking a gallon of water every day. I started wanting to walk more every morning. I wanted to be, eat healthier foods and not sabotage my stomach or my health. And it was fascinating to me that 20 pounds would come off, 30 pounds would come off. And my goal weight of getting rid of, not losing the weight, because even losing the weight implied to me at an unconscious level that I would find it again. That's how powerful I believe words are at an unconscious level. I wanted to get rid of weight. I literally hit my goal weight by my 50th birthday, plus an additional 3 or 4 pounds. I've never felt healthier in my body. I've never felt more connected to my body. And I've never felt like more connected to the decisions and choices I made around health. And I do believe that when we're connected to our values, which are being healthy, for me, being healthy, making healthy choices, being active with my kids, being intimate with my husband, all of a sudden those values and healthy choices really fell into alignment, even at an unconscious level, to getting sleep, valuing sleep and valuing going to bed at 9 and waking up at 4:45 every morning. And people are like, that's so crazy that you do that. No, I value that. I value a good night's sleep. I value waking up and having that walk in the morning with my dog every morning. And for me, it's not like I have to do those things. I get to do those things. And even just changing that language for me became such a powerful motivator for me to live beyond this, what I had deemed a death sentence. My dad died at 50. I'm going to die at 50. I kept saying that. I don't want to die like my dad died at 50. Why would I felt like there was this black cloud literally hanging over me that once I turned 50, I was just going to die like my dad died? Why would I was carrying that from the time I turned 45, like a ticking time bomb over my head, that literally I was just going to drop dead at 50 years old. Imagine like carrying that around. Like I had developed like a high blood pressure. I had developed pre-diabetic tendencies, like all of these things. I really felt like this dis-ease about my health had turned into disease and was like manifesting inside of me. And once I had made the decision to value different things, value healthy choices, value healthy activity, value my own body and comfort and ease within my body, I was able to get rid and reverse all of those things that were turning up inside of myself. And so when you think about health as an entrepreneur and how easy it is to get caught up in the busyness and value being busy, even, it's what are you valuing? Are you valuing the activity of the work? And can you shift that language to how often do you want to be in the office? How often do you want to be working? And can you change the word busy to something else, like value activity and tasks, and get those done in the amount of time that you want to be working, not busy, working, and decide I want to have a 40-hour work week. I may want to have a 30-hour work week, and then the rest of the time be with my family or choose pickleball or hiking or some activity or just being home. I just met with a potential member who just decided he was going to take the entire month of March off so that he could read and be clear and spend time with, extend spring break with his kids, but also empower his staff to elevate themselves to make decisions without him. And I just thought that was such a powerful decision that he was going to be making for the benefit of his business and his brain and his health and his wellness, and to trust his staff to elevate for the health of his business and the health of himself and his family. It's just like, screw it. I'm going to take the whole month of March off. I trust my staff. I trust my employees. I want to make a healthy choice for me and my family. I'm just going to extend March, take spring break off, be with my family, adventure, take his kids out of school for some extra time. They're great students, student athletes. That's a healthy choice for his family. So deciding what is healthy for you, defining that as a value for yourself and your business, and then leaning into that. And when we use language to say, I don't want to be sick, I don't want to be ailed, I don't want this, changing that language to what you do want is a more healthier, conscious decision about what you want as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And it really does shift the energy, and shifting it from what you have to do to what you get to do as a business owner is such a powerful tool. And so I invite anyone that wants to really lean into what are their values around health and being a healthy entrepreneur to reach out to me. I'm happy to do a values exercise with you to really figure out what are your values, how are they aligned within your hierarchy, what is the most important thing to you, and how to create time and space in your business around your values. Some people don't even really know what they are and what the hierarchy of them are, so that they can create time and space in their life for them, and how to give time to their business, give time to their family based on what their values are, so that they can be healthy and make those healthy decisions. Because for me, it was life-changing. I remember going to see my endocrinologist, and he looked at me after not seeing me for, I think I see him once a year, about every 9 months or so. And he was like, what the heck have you done? This is amazing. He said, you literally have probably added 15 years of life to yourself, Sonia. Like, what you have done has been a total reversal of a death sentence from when he first met me in 2019, February of 2019. He first met me. He thought for sure, he had written in his notes, like, this person is sick and sickly. He wrote sickly. And when he saw me again, just before my 50th birthday, he was like, holy cow, you have probably added 15 years of healthy life back to yourself based on what you've done. You've reversed your A1C, you've reversed your health, all your health markers around cholesterol, diabetes, heart, everything, because of what you've done to just change your physiology and your health markers. And I had done that in just about a year, literally, I believe, by changing my values and my mindset around my health. And so I believe if you're out there thinking about what are my values around health and being an entrepreneur, and how can I be a healthy entrepreneur, reach out to me. Let's talk about your value system. My contact information is the show notes. It'll be a life changer for yourself and for your business. If you like what you saw today on the Catalyst podcast, make sure you subscribe to our show, like it, and share it with someone who you think might also find value.